we've got something special today. We've got a bunch of our young people that we're going to be celebrating today. And we have a few new faces here this morning. Yeah, so make sure, if you don't recognize someone, make sure you go give them a hug and love on them, okay? And I don't know, you might have a prophetic word or something too. That's pretty awesome all the time, right? All right, so this morning you guys are going to hear from our awesome young people. I'm going to get this thing out of the way because we don't need it. And so you guys know we have Luna, Nate, Israel, Elijah, and Ella. Yay, yay. And when we started this church in 2017, we were just thinking about launching. We're almost there. But back in 2017, when we first started meeting in our living room, Luna and Israel, you guys were sophomores in high school, right? You came your senior year, so you waited a little bit. Okay. You were a freshman. Yeah. Yeah, you were a freshman, because we started in the spring of 2017. I know. You were a sophomore. I know these things. And Ella, you were still a junior higher. So now Luna and Israel have 2 years of college under their belts. Nate is going to be a sophomore in college. And Ella just graduated from high school. And then we've also had amazing Elijah join us. And Elijah's only been here since 9 months. So we're birthing Elijah. We are birthing Elijah. And this has been a lot easier than your experience, Crystal. Oh, you don't know? I choose to believe in my case it hasn't been as painful. But I was telling Matt, thank you. You guys, Matt and Crystal, these are Elijah's parents back here. You guys make sure you say hi to them. They're missionaries in Mexico, and so they gave us their son, and I just told Matt, thank you so much. You guys did a good job. He's not a jerk. He's easy to love. But 9 months ago, Elijah joined us and immediately became part of this family. And immediately became part of everything that we're doing here. And it's just been a wonderful experience together, hasn't it? Good answer. So we've had a lot of really awesome stuff going on besides the fact that they've grown up with us. Israel went and served Matt and Crystal in Mexico for a month. So that was just this summer. And then Luna went to school of worship in California. That was this summer. We had a lot going on this summer. And then we sent the 5 of these guys to go live with Monty and Hugh, the founders of Beth Shalom Ministry. And so this summer has been packed with investment in these guys. And on top of that, then they had to show up at my house, and we did Matt-style yoga and studied the Bible together on Thursday nights. That's fake yoga. It's non-spiritual. But these guys have had, over the past few years and 9 months, these guys have had a lot invested in them from this church because they're a part of this family. But we're also launching them into another season in their lives. Monty and Hugh are really, really trying to steal Luna from us. They want her to come live with them and become their disciple. And so right now, so far, she's agreed to be with us for 1 more semester, and then we'll see what happens, and then we might see her go out the door. And, all of these guys are in that stage of life where we don't know how much longer we have to invest in them. And I'm hoping that they all come back and continue growing Wellspring, because you guys know I love Wellspring, you guys, more than anybody else in the world. So it's obviously the coolest thing. But we also know that they're all in that stage of life where God may launch them into other things. And that's awesome. It's very awesome that we've been able to participate in their lives. But with everything that's been going on, I've asked them to speak this morning and share testimonies. Is that cool? Oh, good. One of our scriptures from this past week was 1 Corinthians 1, 28 and 29, and this is the Passion Translation. Toa, you want to read it?
He chose the lowly, the laughable in the world's eyes, nobodies, so that he would shame the somebodies. For he chose what is regarded as insignificant in order to supersede what is regarded as prominent, so that there will be no place for prideful boasting in God's presence.
Awesome, thank you.
Almost got Jill there.
Awesome. Isn't that awesome? God chose junior hires and high schoolers to grow up. He chose you guys. And you guys, maybe, you guys, I love the wording in this. The laughable in the world's eyes, nobodies, so that he would shame somebodies. And in the world's eyes, you guys may have been nobodies, but in all of our eyes, because we love our Father and our Father has given us his perspective, you guys have been put here to shame the somebodies. For he chose what is regarded as insignificant, and right now you guys, no matter how old our kids are, they are significant in the kingdom, right? But God chooses these ones that the world says are insignificant in order to supersede what is regarded as prominent. I pray that none of you guys are celebrities or pop stars, but all of you guys are kingdom agents, always sitting in the third heaven, in heavenly places, with our God above all the other chaos, the powers, principalities, and rulers of the world, above all of that in your position in eternity. Thank you, Lord. God picked you guys. No matter who else picked you before, no matter who else picks you after, but God picked you. And it's true about every one of you guys that are in here today. You've been picked for really the only team that matters. And I'm blessed because in Wellspring, you guys are picked. I get to be picked with you in this funky team. We may make a terrible kickball team, but in the eyes of God, except for Sako, okay, in the eyes of God, this is his dream team right here. This is his dream team. All of us, the people that are in this room, we are a dream team together. Isn't that awesome? And then Romans 15:32. You want to read it?
By the will of God, I will be able to come to you with a joyful heart, and we will be an encouragement to each other.
Thank you. So today, we're going to hear from these guys. These guys are each here, and they've brought a real high level of joy. And I want you guys right now to consciously get your joy up a level, because when we combine our joy in this place, there's going to be great encouragement and refreshing. And all of us, are you guys ready to be refreshed by these guys? Are you ready to be encouraged by these guys? All right. Are you guys ready to be an encouragement and a refreshment? All right. Hopefully you all, none of y'all prepared like a fire and brimstone message. I don't know. Oh, Israel. Who's first? Who's first? Israel? Come on, bring it. Everybody give Israel a hand.
All right. If I stop and drink this, please be patient, because my throat gets really dry when I talk. Okay, so happy to be here. I'm so glad that these guys are my friends. And I'll talk about Mexico first. So I would just want to thank my parents for letting me go. And then I want to thank Matt and Crystal for taking me in. They're awesome. They were awesome spiritual parents to me over there. And they were just really encouraging. It was just nice to get to know them, nice to be with them, nice to hang out with Mackenzie, their daughter. It was just a really fun time. And so one of the first things that I remember is I got there, and I think the first or second day, we mowed the lawn of the church. And it's how big is it? It's like, probably like from the line there to the back. So I was mowing it, and it was kind of like wet. There's like dew and stuff. And I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to be here. But the Lord told me, he was like, he gave me that verse where it says, when you work for the Lord. And that kind of carried me through the whole 6 weeks there. Of just, and that might make it sound like I was like hating it or something. I wasn't. But I think it was just because the Lord was showing me who he wants me to be. and he's made me to serve. I know that. It's to serve in some way. So he gave me that verse to really be able to powerfully every day, whenever I felt maybe like tired or anything like that, that I could just say, you know what, I'm doing this for God. It doesn't matter who I'm doing it for, if maybe I'm doing it for someone who I don't actually like, or just like today's a hot day, or I'm sweating or something. I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this for the Lord. So, and I did a ton of stuff. I won't go through all of it. I helped Matt and his friend. We were building a house and like mixing concrete and throwing it on the roof and all this stuff. It was really fun. It was really fun. I got to meet a lot of new people. The church was great. They had awesome services. Matt's preaching his fire. That Matt. The worship was awesome. I got to meet just some really cool people over there and make some new friendships. And I really hope I go back. What else was I gonna say? It was just I had been really struggling with a lot of fear and anxiety for a long time. And for like, say the past 3 years, it was a ton. And the Lord, said, and the Lord really just got me to sit down. I was in Elijah's room. I stayed in Elijah's room. He just sat me down, and he just asked me. He took me through these: intimacy, identity, and influence. He just said, all right, what do you want? What do I really want? Why am I there? And that took me to intimacy. I wanted him. That took me to, what do I really want to do in this life? And also took me to identity. He said, who are you? Why are you here? Like, who are you? He just really like kind of just set these, and they're like really basic questions kind of, but they hit. They really hit when you're just there with him and you don't really know what your future's gonna look like. And that influence, we'll get to that later. Yeah, he just really just kind of shook me and said, you know what, it's time to do this, time to take off. Because I had been harboring a lot of fear, a lot of things from my past. And he just said, you know what, it's time to shake those off. And Mexico was actually preparation for Beth Shalom, for Monty and Hughes. The Lord just kept telling me to not be afraid. He just kept knocking that on me. Just, whenever you're afraid, just stop. Because you know I'm here with you. And he's given me these words. In my first session, I think it was in March or something like that, I didn't feel too much. I didn't see too much. But I saw a triangle, and I knew it was him telling me that he's with me. And that's all I need. And I saw it again in Mexico, that he just keeps telling me, I'm here with you. And honestly, what more do you need, right? When you know that God is with you. So that, he's just been pulling me through a whole bunch of stuff. So then comes Beth Shalom, and I had another session. I was with Hugh, and if you guys don't know him, he's super chill. And that whole day, we had just gotten a dog. They got a new dog that day. And then I went with him to like the store and stuff, so I was just hanging out with Hugh the whole day. And then we had a session. It was just like really relaxing. It was just really authentic. It was just kind of peaceful, and we were just there. And I was just letting all this stuff out. It was just like coming out. The Lord really got me to face my fears, and he's really getting me to do that. He's making me go to the mountains and to look at them and say no. So that session was really freeing. We went through a lot of stuff. And being with these guys was really cool. We're just hanging out. We hang out here, but it was different. Just the atmosphere over there, the house, the place. And then Monty and Hugh with their wisdom and their words and everything. It was just so good. And we had a lot of fun. We went in our river, and we went dancing. We went dancing. It was really good. Monty and Hugh, we would just talk to them, and they would just spit out all this good stuff. They would just give us fire from the Lord, and they brought wisdom. Monty had this really cool dream about hunger, and about holiness, and that's a big thing that we got from there, that I got from there, that Monty was telling us about, that we have to be holy unto the Lord, that we have to consecrate ourselves to God, and that with that, there needs to be a hunger as a foundation. Without the hunger, you're not going to be holy. You need that fire to seek him, to trust him, to take hold of what he has for you. And yeah, it was just really, it's been a really good summer. You know what, I haven't been able to say that in a long time. So yeah.
Okay, I have notes, or it's going to be 42 slides, like Father. I have a lot to say. Hi, I'm Luna. I like bikes. So I went to the Bethel School of Worship for 2 weeks, and that was an adventure. I started, and I came in exhausted and empty, and I was like, I'm just going to take it all in. I'm just going to write notes down, get all that knowledge. And I told my mom, like, exactly what time I needed to go home every day. And I was like, I'm just going to get all the knowledge, and then I'm going to leave. I'm not going to, like, connect with people or anything, because, like, I have social anxiety sometimes. And a big crowd was really scary for me. And I came in, and it was just a huge congregation of humans. And I was just like, what am I going to do? And I just heard God just say, go to the second row. And my life completely changed from there. I coincidentally, or it was just God's plan, was to be surrounded by people who were in the same life stage, same passions, same age. It was just crazy to be surrounded by people who were so on fire for God, and it was incredible. And I got to make some really cool friendships, and some of them are coming to Texas, and I'm so excited. But God just really put on me on that day was worship is to break the bottle and freely pour the fragrance of our love and adoration on Jesus, unashamed and unhindered, and to leave out with the fragrance of Jesus. So that was worship. And he just showed me just that worship is relational, and it's a community thing, and it's a lifestyle. I walk in worship, and I wake up worshiping God. Holy, holy, you are amazing. And he just showed me that he was watching me this whole entire time, and that I'm his preference. And it was just the coolest thing. And he even put the responsibility on me to pour my heart out in worship and onto the worship team, which is just going to be us three. Toa, Onika, Ben. And so that's just going to be so exciting. And I'm just so excited and on fire to do more and just to apply whatever I've learned into here. And he just made me fall in love with the word and serve my dad. And we've woke up like 6 a.m, read the Bible, prayed a lot, did some yoga, some Matthew yoga, and it was awesome. And I'm so excited to do more with that. And San Marcos. I'm excited. Can you write that down and just hold me accountable for that? Every morning. Yeah. This is great. I love waking up in the morning. And when we went to San Marcos, Bethel, the serving part was just highlighted to me when I went there, is to make sure that I serve and honor Monty and Hugh the whole entire time. And surprising to my parents, I washed their dishes, I cleaned their house, I did a lot. Be proud. And I just really just laid everything down, and I just wanted more of them, and I just wanted everything. And he revealed during our session, he revealed what Monty called it, the angry little Sacco out of me. And that was kind of my session, was the angry little Sacco. And it was just a lot of angst and anxiety and need for justice all the time. And God highlighted that I love that, but I don't want too much of it. And so we really had freedom. I had freedom from that. And whenever my parents would talk to me, like confrontationally, before then, it was just like this complete blank stare. And I would just stare at them the whole entire time. And my brain would be like this big old mess of words and scribbles and shapes. And it was really the enemy attacking me from thinking straight. And it was crazy that she highlighted that to me. And when I came back, Monty called me and she was like, "So did your parents see any change?" And I asked my dad, and my dad was like, "I think so." But like he didn't really give me any details, so it kind of made me mad. And so I had to ask my mom, because my mom is so deep. She's so precious. And so I asked her, and she goes, "You have a sweetness to you and a softness that you, like, I've never seen you have." And it was just like that. Like, that's awesome. So I did change. I'm sweet. And and so God's just really tore down the walls and the boundary that I've had for a very long time, and restored what my body would like shut down, and restored my softness. And I was just so glad to be there with this group, because we're deep people, but there was something there that just created a new level of depth. And we were just talking about God every day and just how amazing he is, and what are we seeing, what is God giving us right now, what are our dreams, and it was just so amazing to see that. And in the end of my session, Monty, she goes, "What does your core look like? And what are you seeing right now?" And I just saw a person standing in the middle of the field, and there was just like the sheer sheet on this person, and I immediately went into his perspective, and it was just like shapes and blurs, and it was lifted, and in front of me was Monty with a pearl, and a pearl means wisdom. And I was like, "I'm going to take that." And so I shared it to her, and she just sits there, and she's like, "Yeah, that's cool. So when are you going to live with me?" And I was like, that's not really a pearl. Yeah, when am I going to live with you? And she's like, "When you were 15, when I first met you, you said, I want to live with you. And so I'm going to hold you up on that. When are you going to live with me?" And so that just created a big excitement and an adventure in my life. So what's next? I'm going to live with Monty. So, and that is my testimony. Are you ready?
Hola. Hi. So, I didn't go to Mexico. I didn't go to Bethel. But I did go to Monty and Hughes. And that was, like, huge. That was a really, really cool thing. Because, like they said before, it gave a whole nother level of relationship and depth. And it was literally like a retreat. You're out in the middle of the country. And, there's not too much else to do, but the reason that you're there is to be intimate, to really find the reason that you're there. And I think one thing that stuck out to me a lot was, we all agree that God speaks to us all differently, right? Like it depends on how you speak to him, how you are. And I feel because I have an attitude, God will have an attitude with me sometimes. Not in the sense that it's like very like obvious. It'll be like I'm mad about something, and then all of a sudden I get a word, and then I go look it up in the Bible, and it's like smack in the face, the complete opposite of how you feel. Like you should be, and I feel convicted, and I'm like, all right, relax. But like for example, when in my head, because I think we all have struggled with this before. When you go through something, and the first thought is, why would God do that to me? And then instantly in my head, it's like Job, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you're right. Like, okay, fine, I can't eat out tomorrow because I don't have enough money. Like, it's not that serious, you know. Things like small things like that, but it comes into this bigger picture of being able to, number one, have that relationship with him to where you're able to see. Let me backtrack. With Monty and Hughes, when we were out there, the biggest thing that stuck out to me was being able to have this filter. It was almost this God filter that was turned on for me. That was, you're able now, I feel like I'm able now to see God in literally everything. Like there's not, I remember thinking a lot about this message that Ben gave us a while back about, if y'all remember the dandelion, and he was talking about like the beauty of God in this dandelion, and we would make fun of him because he was like, he just walks through the grass, oh, God, 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 God. But it's true. It's that deep, you know, and being able to see it that way is something that completely flipped for me. I think is it became more of a passive thing than a chore, you know. Like now it's just the instinct for me to be able to see God in everything. So going back to that identity, and because that's what it lines up with, is identity. Why we are where we are, and what's the reason? Why am I given this challenge? It doesn't, in my head, it's never, now it's not, how do I deal with this? Why was I given this struggle? What do I do? It's always, okay, what was the reason? Where am I supposed to go with this? Why am I supposed to do what I'm supposed to do? And it's almost back to basics, I feel like, for me. So that was a huge deal. I mean, there was a lot of quietness, and it was very, very geared towards just getting in touch with him, you know. And that goes back, I loved Monty's dream. She had a dream about a tree house, and she said that we were all the kids that went, we were all building a tree house in her backyard, and it was just the floor, I believe she said, just the floor of the tree house in the first part of the dream, and she was like confused as to why we cut the branches off in certain places because they didn't need to be, and it was just a really, really cool, intricate dream. And essentially she was saying that we were the foundation, we were that floor, and the cutting off of the branches was cutting off those things that you didn't need when you were following God, the things that are you, the things that aren't important. And that stuck with me a lot too, because it was a wake-up call almost, you know. As one single plank of wood is not going to support you if you're trying to make a floor. Obviously, you need others, and that relationship with y'all is a big part of that too. Being able to see that, yes, you are a plank of wood, but you're with your other planks of wood. So it's okay, you know. It was a wake-up call more than anything else. It was a retreat, and you come back refreshed, and you're able to see things in a completely different light. And so, yeah, it was really cool. It makes me, now I have to think every single time, it's a lot easier to think, okay, why was I given this? What do I need to focus on today? Where do I move forward? You know, a lot less in my head and a lot more in where I feel like I'm supposed to be. So, yeah.
It's out of this world. Okay, open your Bibles. Hi. So good to see all y'all from up here. Let me get my notes. I do have notes. Okay. Well, Matt sent us a text early this week and was like, hey, can y'all share? And he gave us our themes. And my themes were, can you share about what Wellspring has done for you and what you learned at Monty and Hughes and about Bethel in 5 minutes? And I was like, you can do it. Maybe. So I have compiled them into a common theme to make it easier. And that theme is, well, it's these: intimacy, identity, and influence, but I think those can even be boiled down to desire. Yeah, I can't believe I've been here for 9 months. The 25th will be a 1-year anniversary of me living here in the U.S. Today's the 22nd, right? That's 3 days. And I spent 3/4 of that year here, and that's kind of wild to think about. I moved to the States. I moved to Colorado, and I came here to visit in November. And I came to visit, and it was a group Sunday. It was a lab group Sunday, and I automatically wanted to be here. And I didn't really know at first that I was necessarily supposed to be here, but I knew that I wanted to be here. And a desire started to bubble up inside of me for more. And I realized there were things here that I wanted and needed more and more. And I learned that it's okay to want things. I think that was the beginning. So, I gotta keep on track here. Yeah. So I ended up staying here through a series of events. I'm sure all of y'all have heard the story, and if not, then can ask me about it after church or something, because it's kind of long. No, okay, but the common theme is desire. So I moved here, and I didn't know what I needed necessarily, but I knew what I wanted, and I remember meeting with you and saying, I want a place to be able to launch out of. I want to grow and have a family. And so I knew the first time I came, and I think I was here like 3 weeks before I even heard a message. It was just group Sundays, coincidentally. And I knew that I wanted to be here, that there was intimacy here, and I needed a family, and I needed a place to be, and I knew that I could grow spiritually in my intimacy here too. And out of that intimacy, identity. I'm just rewrapping. I'm also rewrapping Matt's message for the past month for everyone who wasn't here, and so that you know I was paying attention. Right, identity. So now I have a home. I remember when I went to Mexico to visit my parents in June. Right, we were in June, and I came back. It felt like I was home, and that was really something I didn't think I could feel. Being back in the U.S. and there were so many new things, and I didn't really have an establishment, but I was like, okay, I'm home. And I came to church on Sunday, and it was home. And so that was big, and y'all have given me a home, and I'm very thankful. An influence, well, y'all have been a big influence, and now I'm here speaking to y'all, so I guess I'm being an influence right now. But I have a verse. Whoa, y'all are going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, I think, because there's not up there. So I'll just read it. It's 1 Peter 2, 9 and 10. And this is kind of one of my... Remember I learned this. I was in music school and Bible school, and it was one of the verses I had to learn, but it's really stuck with me. And it talks about people who don't follow the word, and then this verse starts, and it says, "But you are not like that, not like the people who don't follow the word. For you are chosen people, you are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of the darkness into his wonderful light. Once you had no identity as a people, now you are God's people. Once you received no mercy, now you have God's mercy." So, in this verse, as I was meditating on it, there are these 3 points hidden in it, and it's points for my life, and things for me that I've grown in, but also I think it's a word for everybody. It says we're God's possession. So I learned here that I'm God's possession, and I've grown in intimacy. And it says, as a result, you can show the goodness of God to other people, and that's what attracted me to this place, is the intimacy of groups. I didn't even hear a message here, but I was with y'all. I was in intimacy and sharing things with y'all. And then it says, once you had no identity as a people, but now you're God's people, and I've grown in that identity, and I've been able to see that identity in every person here. And so that theme, same at Monty and Hughes, they talked about holiness and what they shared, and right? But I think that it all sprung out of, it all comes down to a desiring. The more you desire God, the more he will come, the more he will come back. I remember the song, there's a Carrie Job song, it says, The more I seek you, the more I find you, the more I find you, the more I love you. That's amazing. Well, that's a great song. It's a great song. So, yeah, it's true. So, yeah, I think that I want to use all the questions I had. I had questions about, how do you do this? And Monty would be like, well, this has happened for me when I've been in like deep prayer and things like this, and I've been able to experience that. And then all boiled down so I can keep it precise and not go on a rabbit trail. To a desire. And I know it's basic, but that's the base. That's the beginning and the end. And same for Bethel. I'm thankful to have a place to come back to go from. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to grow even more in intimacy and identity and influence, but I'm just expectant to what God is going to do. It's amazing. It's been something I've wanted to do since I was a little kid, and I'm just super excited about it. So, yes, I won't forget any of you.
I know y'all keep like referencing these, but like these are amazing. Like you can yeah. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, when I open my notes, I feel so like adult and like Bethel ready, like being up here and talking to people. The talking about 3 points, Shalom, Bethel, and Wellspring in 5 minutes is a challenge. I actually don't know which one I was going to start with, so I'm just going to pick one. We'll start with Shalom. Obviously, Monty and Hugh have been here. They've visited. They've done conferences, and we've been in their presence before. And they're just kind of like grandparents to all of us. And so going in their house and sitting before them and being in the presence of spiritual royalty was such an honor and a blessing. And we didn't talk about Jesus the entire time, and it didn't really matter because we were having this special, we keep using the word depth and fellowship, just being in each other's presence that created its own holiness, I guess. And so that was, y'all talked about that a little bit. Holiness was our big kind of Beshalom theme. And the first night, we worshipped in the dark in their living room on air mattresses. And Monty starts talking about holiness and sharing that dream that she had and starts telling us that we're holy. And I was like, what? I didn't know I could be holy. That's kind of cool. She said, I wrote it down here, you are different and set apart the minute the Lord touches you. And that stuck with me. I was like, oh, whoa, that's cool. The minute the Lord touches you, you are holy. That was mind-blowing to me. And the fact that we are, I guess, predestined to be set apart and holy to do the things of God is just really cool. And she said this before over and over again, but she said the Lord told her one time that some can, but you can't. And that will forever stick with me and help me in my walk of holiness. And and it then that I guess transitions into Wellspring, just us creating this atmosphere of freedom that is a part of holiness. It's just, I was looking back over my notes and realized my theme was weapons of warfare was holiness, freedom, and praise. And so being holy and whole and creating that freedom atmosphere, and it has changed my life for the better and has set me on a path to bring others to holy and wholeness and freedom and praise. And just being in a place, whether we're in my backyard, in the niece household, or in this office building. It has been a heavenly home for the past 5 years. And yeah, the abundance and godly recognition and all of it for ever and ever will be a part of my life. And intimacy, identity, and influence. So, yeah, I've really learned to, for the past 5 years, have gotten words of, you're supposed to be on, like, I see you on stage, I see you in front of people. And I was like, I don't do that. I don't stand in front of people. I don't talk in front of people. I will talk to you in the corner of the room where nobody else can hear me, but I won't stand up here. So the fact that I'm right here right now is a testimony in itself, and has been an encouragement from my spiritual family to just go to the front. You have something to say. God is speaking through you. And last night, Israel gave me this cool word that God has put this thing into me. A treasure. And God is using that. And so, yeah, Wellspring has pushed me to the front. And I'm very, 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 very thankful for it. And yeah, I feel weaponized and ready to go into a new season and a new place and help others be weaponized in the weapons of warfare. And yeah, I'm really excited. A little scared, but like I'm really excited. So yeah, I mean that's all I have is just thank you to each and every one of you for pouring into me, for sending me out, for speaking life over me, for blessing my life, for pushing me to the front and encouraging me in intimacy, identity, and influence. So, yeah, was that 5 minutes? But yeah, love y'all.
Man, you guys are so cool. You know, I love, it's really cool hearing Ella, like she said. You guys remember when we started this, you could never hear her. Now when she sings on the worship team, you can actually hear her. I mean, she's just grown out. The Holy Spirit has come out of her and just blossomed her. It's awesome. And really each one of you guys. And everyone who's partnered with us in Wellspring, you can honestly see how God has worked in each one of our lives. Every person who has partnered with Wellspring and become part of the spiritual family, you've seen growth. You've seen change. They're testimonies, and it's just been a wonderful experience, and it's all part of building the spiritual family. So thank you guys so much for sharing this morning. Wasn't that awesome? It's very cool. Very cool. Yes. So part of what we want to do this morning is also pray for, we're going to pray for Elijah and Ella. Elijah is actually leaving with his dad, Matt. They're actually leaving right after service to start their drive to California. So we're going to pray for them, and we're going to bless them, and we're also going to worship together right after that. Is that cool?